Hey guys, this is the Comic Book Girl 19 Podcast Radio Show Extravaganza, and we're here today with Captain Kirk and T-Bone. This is our first episode. We're super excited about it, so get ready. Oh, gosh.
Just person on the internet.
A person on the internet said something about The Walking Dead.
Dun dun
Gosh,
dun.
now I gotta find it. Jeez.
That's the whole point.
No, sorry.
I know, we want to get the person's name, but at the same time, it's like,
Yeah,
we know what
we
the
should
question
get their name.
was.
I know, fuck it.
All right, go.
So, I have been asked why I do not talk about the Walking Dead comic and or show.
Because you're too scared to read and watch it.
No, it's
Okay.
because it is so talked about that I feel like we really don't need to talk about it. It's kind of one of
Yeah.
those things that's really covered, especially on the Nerdist channel.
Nerdist, and hey, they have their own special after every new episode to talk about it.
You can't really beat that.
And we don't have the actors from the show
We
on
have
our podcast.
no
to ask-
connections.
None. So I think we just kind of leave it to Nerdist to handle that.
Yeah, and the thing is like, it's such a big popular show that, I mean, it really doesn't need my help. Like, I prefer to talk
No.
about things that deserve more attention. Whereas
Yeah, I mean-
that show already has attention. It already
Right.
has an audience.
Y'all
My
know-
mom watches it.
You all know about Walking Dead.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like there's really no point.
But I think you should bring up the Badass Digest zombie.
Oh,
episode.
Oh
yes.
my gosh, yeah. I mean,
If you're a fan of Walking Dead, you're going to like that.
yeah, if you want to know more about zombie movies and how they progress and why we're at where we are now with zombies and the whole culmination of why they become so popular, I highly suggest watching Devin Faraci's Badass Digest on the subject. He does a whole episode about zombies. It's like just
the
him.
history of zombies or something.
Yeah, history of zombies, and it's so good. Like, he is just on point, man.
You can also tell like the amount of research and love that he put into that.
Oh,
thing.
he is on
Yeah.
point all the time. I mean, he's a smart friggin' dude. Like, just talking to him, you're like,
he also
wow.
did one on
you're
Planet
really
of the
smart.
Apes, like the whole history of Planet of the Apes.
Oh, I didn't see
movies.
that.
Yeah, he's got like 2 episodes on
I gotta check that out. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely check that out. But yeah, so there you go.
Alrighty.
That's why.
Do we do
Okay.
another Twitter question?
See if
Yeah.
Let's start this thing off
Oh.
with one more Twitter question.
All right.
Well, how about you can answer this one?
Oh, how do you think Sherlock was able to survive jumping off the building at the end of season 2? Asked Jim Brown.
What show is that?
Sherlock by Stephen Moffat.
On BBC.
Oh yeah.
the
Here's how I think Sherlock survived jumping off the building. The TARDIS shows up at the nick of time, and he falls into the TARDIS. And because the Doctor, time is
Yeah.
wibbly wobbly, spacey wacy, and it's not like completely linear.
Mhm.
It happened so quickly that no one saw it, and so he's actually supposed to return Sherlock back on the ground safely moments later, but he screws up, and that's why everyone thinks he's dead. And like the Doctor just says, "All right, Sherlock, you're fine," and drops him off while they're having the funeral for Sherlock Holmes.
I'm pretty
That's
sure.
and I'm willing to put a lot of money, a lot, that I am right on this.
I think you just inspired a hell of a lot of fan fiction.
I hope
A
so.
lot of like really like yaoi cosplay whatever stuff with Sherlock and Doctor Who. Like, would you shit your pants if there was a Sherlock Doctor Who crossover?
I would die. I wouldn't
Oh.
be able to. It's not going to happen. But
Yeah, I haven't seen the last episode of season 2. I'm just like, I know it's really good, and I'm just like scared to watch it because I just want to pretend like there's more episodes. I'm like not watching because it's like
Right.
whatever.
but the fact that you actually have to wait a year in between
Yeah,
seasons sometimes is
yeah.
totally killer. Yeah.
It's hard for me. It takes me a while to sometimes watch like final seasons of stuff even where I just want to pretend like I lost interest and I don't want to face the fact that
Right.
like there's no more like waiting for me.
There
Afterwards.
is that awkward letdown after you're done with like a show.
Yeah.
And I mean like all the seasons. You're
Yeah.
like, so what else do I do with my life now?
Like when Lost was over for so many people.
I still haven't watched the last 6 episodes of Lost.
Neither have I.
For like I'm not joking. For like the
I
last.
stopped with the last 3.
And I'm just like, I'm not ready to finish it.
I don't know how it ends.
I don't want to be as frustrated as everybody else.
I know. I just
Yeah.
like there was so much like negativity in the air when it ended that I was like, I don't know. It just made me
I
like
can't do
stop and wait.
Yeah,
Wait till it
I'm
calms
holding
down.
it's still
It's
in my
time now. I think it's time now.
I think we
You
should
ready?
just accept. Honestly,
ready?
when it comes to Sherlock, I think only Stephen Moffat knows right now. He's the only one that knows how Sherlock was able to survive. Because the show's so damn good.
I know, it's so good. It's so good.
All right, next topic. We're going to move into some movies here.
Okay.
Let's talk about Elysium. Oh, man, that trailer.
You're right. We definitely had to watch that thing on a great surround sound system.
Yes.
The sound alone on that trailer was to die for.
Why don't you set it up? Set up what we did.
Okay, what did we just orgasm over?
So there's a new Matt Damon movie coming out, directed by
Neil Blomkamp.
God, I hope we got that right.
Blomkamp. I don't know how to say it. I always mess it up.
But he directed District 9.
He directed District 9, which was obviously really awesome. And this is, man, it looks like a fun-ass sci-fi awesome movie. And it's just like all the social commentary on like where things are going with like the 1%ers and the 99% and like they're fucking really rich people or on some other planet or something. I don't know. Is it a planet?
Is it like in a Halo ring?
A Halo ring?
It looks like something out of Halo. You're right.
You're right. Yeah. It's man, it looks cool though, and I love the part where
in Elysium.
Right? Well, I see what you did there.
Yeah. They. You mean ellipse? Did you mean an ellipse?
Yes. Something like that.
I thought you were making a nice classical Greek mythology reference, but.
Moving on.
I'm not editing that out.
Yeah, it's a lot of people have been sending me the trailer, telling me to watch it, and we watched it, and it looks really badass. I'm looking forward to it more so than Oblivion, to be honest.
Yeah.
It looks so good. I like the exoskeleton suit.
Which, it's a true, honest-to-God exoskeleton suit. It's not like that piece of shit in G.I. Joe.
Yes.
The first G.I. Joe.
Oh, God. Like, it looks like an honest-to-God exoskeleton suit.
It's actually drilled into their skeletons.
They show you drilling the suit onto the guy.
That was so cool, and Matt Damon's like, this isn't going to kill me. This isn't going to kill me. Like, pumping himself up to, like...
Bring out the bone saw.
You know? It's like, no! Like, that is so badass. I am really excited about it.
And there was, like, a really cool, like, mashup there. It looks like Mad Max in space at one point, and then also Van Nuys circa today.
Yeah. It did. It definitely did.
You know what I'm excited about that movie is the fact that the director, Neil Blomkamp, and the District 9 that he did, just the tone that he had in District 9, to see that in a bigger budget sci-fi movie, that's so exciting. Yeah. To see what he will do.
I wonder how the humor will like, I wonder if he's going to keep the humor aspect and, like, or if he's just going to
there were like some like tongue-in-cheek chuckles in District 9.
Yeah, definitely. But like the cat food thing, like stuff like that. There's a lot of darker humor in there. I wonder if that's going to make it into this new one. This new one looks like.
Oh, we should probably say about trailers that this looks like the new Prometheus trailer for this year.
Totally.
The trailer was so good.
No, that's a good trailer.
Right.
Like that was a good trailer.
Which it's probably hit the mark of where you shouldn't watch it. Like if you're listening to us talk right now, you should not watch this trailer.
I don't know, because it doesn't give too much away though, and it doesn't like make it look like one thing or another.
It's exactly what we're talking about in the episode. It's like it gets you too excited for the movie.
Maybe.
Like we've just set expectations for ourselves that are ridiculously
way too high.
That's true.
Way too high.
And now we're setting them for you.
You're right.
So don't watch the trailer.
Yeah.
No, like go home and just like watch the Garbage Pail Kids movie instead. Just do that.
Just ruin your eyes.
Forget 90 minutes. I mean, forget the awesome trailer that's going to give you a bunch of hope.
No, that's kind of tongue in cheek when we say don't watch a trailer. Everyone's going to watch it anyway. It doesn't matter. It's just in a perfect world, trailers wouldn't give away so much.
Well, yeah. I know. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
What was the? Well, we got another trailer to talk about, don't we?
The Wolverine?
The Wolverine trailer. I guess let's stay into trailers.
Let's just get the trailers out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the beginning of the movie. This is the beginning of the podcast.
All right. Let's talk about the Wolverine trailer. Thoughts on the Wolverine movie? Go.
Okay, so I talked a little bit about this on Screen Addict, but I have a lot more to say, so I'm going to talk about it here. It already looks like another missed opportunity to make a fucking badass Wolverine movie that I want to fucking watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, it already, like, the first one, I mean, Jesus Christ, you know? And then they're like, oh, well, this time we're going to do it right. But then you see the trailer, and it's like, dude, you're already fucking it up. Like,
well, why are they messing it up? Exactly.
Just stick with your source material, for God's sake, you know?
And the source material was?
Okay.
The Frank Miller story with Chris Claremont?
Yes, the Chris Claremont, Frank Miller Wolverine story. It's so amazing. And I've always thought it should be turned into a movie. I mean, reading it, it's very cinematic. Frank Miller is very much into movies, you can tell. The way he, like, his shot selections, everything. It's a solid...
No matter how much he sucks at directing.
And, ooh, that's a tough one.
I'm sorry. Do I need to bring up The Spirit?
I know.
Do I need to bring up The Spirit?
No, it was bad.
I didn't see it.
Do I need to bring up RoboCop 3?
Oh, damn it. You went there. You went there.
Ouch.
Yeah, I think he did RoboCop 3.
The one where he gets a jetpack?
Yes.
Yeah.
And cyber and robot ninjas.
Which was
and his partner dies, and
God,
he drops to one knee and is holding her as she's dying in the dilapidated church with just enough sunlight.
You remember it too much. I try to forget it.
Maybe he should.
There's not enough whiskey in the world for me to make me forget RoboCop 3.
It's really sad when a sequel or a third movie, whatever, is so bad that it takes away from the accomplishments of the first movie.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's not give Frank Miller more attention than he needs right now. Let's just go to Wolverine.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, in the story, it's very simple story. He goes to Japan because he fell in love with this chick, Mariko.
Right.
And they fell in love in America. They met in America. They fell in love. He had to go to Canada to handle some business. Handles the business, comes back, tries to call her, gets no response. She's moved back to Japan. Goes, tries to get a hold of her in Japan, no response. So he's like, what the fuck? Why is this bitch not talking to me?
Right.
I'm going to go figure it out. I will come to you. And he does, and then he goes there and he gets embroiled in this big situation, and, her father has come back from the dead or something. They all thought he was dead, and he took over the clan because she's a part of this, clan, promised her hand in marriage to a guy that he was owed, and in Japan, the whole honor thing, so she was honor-bound to marry this guy. She did. She's like, Wolverine, just forget about me. Obviously, he can't, there's a whole big deal. And then
Wolverine can forget about everything else, but not her.
No, not her. and there's ninjas in it. There's sword fights in it. It's fantastic.
And there's a great final showdown between him and the ninja master.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just
and there's
so
and then there's
cinematic,
Yukio. He gets his heart broken by Mariko. He's like, well then fuck her, and then he starts hanging out with this assassin chick, and they just get drunk every night and just fuck shit up every night,
which is really hot. And personally, I think he may have traded up on that one.
I thought that they were a good mix, but even in the comic, he's like, oh well, Yukio accepts me for who I am,
right?
But Mariko inspires me to be a better man, and that's so cool. It's just it's so well done,
Just like the movie As Good as It Gets with Jack.
I love that movie.
Exactly
I love that movie. And
so this trailer looks like it has none of that.
Nothing. I mean, it just looks like Japan. That's the only.
There's Silver Samurai.
And then,
there are ninjas too.
And then
there are ninjas.
No, but what the fuck is going on with that character? You see her taking her face off. She looks like Husk. She's looking like she's doing Husk shit.
It describes Husk from
But
X-Men.
then I went to the IMDb. It's Madam Viper or
to clarify,
Viper.
That's the shot where someone pulls on their face and it looks like it's stretching off.
Yeah, it's some blonde chick. It's pulling her face off. It looks like Husk nonsense. And then it's supposed to be Madam Viper or Viper or something. And then I read in the Wikipedia, Viper does not have shape-shifting abilities a la Husk.
She's just kind of a badass ninja.
She's just just a person. She doesn't have any powers. So it's okay, so you're already fucking it up again. And I know that you didn't know this. I was telling you this the other day, that in X-Men 3...
the porcupine kid.
Yes,
the
Asian blowfish kid is billed as Kid Omega
in the credits.
It's
fuck with Kid Omega.
I don't understand. There's so many characters in the Marvel continuity that it's why do you have to mix up characters or make up some new one or fuck with their powers?
The Fox Studios. That's just what they do with
God, they just fuck it up every time.
Well, thank God they got Mark Millar to straighten shit out.
I mean,
we hope, right?
Yeah, hopefully, because that's the man to do it if they're going to hold on to the Marvel franchises.
Yeah.
But this definitely looks like this was happening before that announcement got made.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they just kind of will not suck so bad on this and go. But don't worry, guys. We still have Spider-Man.
Why don't we clarify why we think the Fox franchise of X-Men is off track and has
Fantastic
been off track?
Four Part 1 and 2.
Well, no, I don't even ignore that. I just completely ignore
end
that.
of conversation.
Yeah, that's.
You had a good thing.
You shall not be named.
You were saying that the X-Men franchise, it was one of the first comic book series to really ignite comic book movies.
Yes.
Right? When X-Men came out, 99 or 2000?
It was huge.
It was huge, and it was so exciting for us to finally see these characters on the screen for the first time.
Oh yeah.
But it's been over 10 years now.
It's a post-Avengers world.
Right. It's been over 10 years now, and the Avengers has taken it to the next level of doing it right.
I think it really did.
Yes,
100%.
So
I think it's time that we just started over with the X-Men. It's
Please.
time for a new continuity, but yet they're still trying to stick with the old stuff.
You know what it's time for? It's time for Fox to fucking give it up. Because they fumble every single time.
But there's way too much money, so you know it's not going to happen. Forget how many children would be happy. Forget like families. Forget families putting away old age grudges. Watch like this disgruntled fathers get sober and go back to their families. The happiness.
No, they don't care.
Of letting Marvel having all their franchises.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
I know, and it's such a bummer, it's such a bummer because it's like you could have, Wolverine show up in an Avengers film. He is a fucking Avenger.
Yeah.
And it's like
as an auxiliary
you're telling
player,
me, you're telling me that you don't want to see Wolverine in an Avengers movie because he would be done right.
And it's all because a bunch of lawyers just can't get along.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's all about money. I mean, it's a bunch of greed bullshit.
I mean, and especially you got to think about in all the Marvel films, have you heard the word mutant yet?
No.
Really?
Think about it.
They avoid saying that on.
They've never mentioned mutants in any of the new Marvel films.
Because
of
the
rights
to the word. You're right.
They don't have the rights to the word.
Damn it.
Which, I mean, if one person, all it takes is one character to say, well, and then there's the mutants, and then you watch that entire universe expand in the movies.
I know.
It would just take one word.
Just the possibility is just so exciting.
I know. And
but
it's
why? Why not?
I don't get it. Because that's the thing. Another thing that people don't realize is that the X-Men franchise in comic book form has generally been far more successful than the Avengers franchise.
Yes.
I mean, a while ago, nobody even knew who the fucking Avengers were. I mean, nobody read
the
that.
Avengers were in 2011. On the street, a regular person,
Yeah, and
I mean, comic book fans, because Bendis turned it around about 10 years ago, and made the Avengers relevant again in the comics. But it's always been X-Men. It's always been Spider-Man.
Yeah,
it's always been.
And the fact that I'm just sad that I've never, not to negate the first X-Men movie or the second one. Those were both, like I said, benchmarks, and I really appreciate them. And especially, oh my god, that fucking Nightcrawler scene was everything I wanted and more. They totally nailed that. But I just feel like I still haven't seen the X-Men movie that's in my head.
Right.
I still haven't seen
the ones that are in the comics.
Yeah. And that's the thing about, the Avengers. Is they really brought the comics to life in a lot of ways, while still, riding that line between movies and comics.
Right. It's you said this. You said the X-Men movies are the current ones that we have had for the last 10 years are the movie versions of the comic.
Right.
But there's just a whole nother world that we know exists that we want to see.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just, I'm just sad that, it's like, how do you fuck up Wolverine? How do you fumble that one?
And somewhere Glenn Danzig is at his apartment I would have made such a better Wolverine.
I know, and that's a whole other conversation. It's just it's been 10 years of Hugh Jackman Wolverine, and I mean, Wolverine doesn't age.
Not that there's anything wrong with Hugh Jackman Wolverine.
No,
he was great.
Hugh Jackman is a sexy son of a bitch.
I had a lot of fantasies about Hugh Jackman Wolverine, okay? Don't get me wrong. As a female, I was very excited by that. But that being said, he is still not the comic book Wolverine. It's a Hollywood romanticized version of Wolverine, which is all well and good, but I want to see the berserker, 5'3", hairy, little weird, muscular, angry guy.
Even if it's the rawhide, cowboy jacket, cowboy hat, cowboy boots, short guy.
Yeah, short
with a cigar.
And huge. I just want a big, burly, little, angry dude.
I want to see all the X-Men characters portrayed the way they're supposed to be in the comics.
And I want to see
some famous movie actor that they got because they're a famous person and the name recognition.
I know this is going to sound dumb. I feel like the only person that got Magneto, especially in First Class, because First Class did a really good job of getting closer to it.
First Class is my favorite of all the
X-Men
movies.
Mm-hmm. I thought Michael Fassbender as a young Magneto was dead on.
Yeah. Dude.
I thought that was so dead on. But that was one of the only casting things where I kind of went, that's what I see when they do flashback stories with Magneto.
He dethroned Hugh Jackman, in my opinion, as hottest X-Men.
Yeah.
It's just whoa.
Especially at the end of that movie when you're you go with them or you come with me.
I would go anywhere
with Michael Fassbender Magneto.
I would go anywhere.
Yeah.
I would join any Brotherhood of Evil, whatever. I would be there. Man, he was just hot stuff.
Yeah, he nailed that part.
Damn it.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Damn it all.
So that's why the Wolverine movie's going to suck.
I don't know. The poster's cool. I like the poster.
Right.
Posters are great.
To sum it up, it's because they're not doing what they should be doing.
Well, again, they're just not having people who are working on it who really fucking give a shit. You know, like Joss Whedon fucking gives a shit.
Well,
Joss
they
Whedon
give a shit. They give a shit about movies and what they're doing.
No, they give a shit about making money.
Money. That's what I meant to say. They give a shit about money, and they're doing the old Hollywood stuff, which is whose name is in it, who's the famous actor we can get Halle Berry for this part, right?
Yeah.
Whereas they need to be. We're going to see the movie regardless if there's a famous person in it. Scratch all the.
You had us at X-Men.
Yeah.
You had us at X-Men.
Well, and that's the thing. Right. Hugh Jackman was an unknown when he was cast for Wolverine. So I mean,
do you want to hear? Do you know the story about how he got the part?
No.
Okay, going all the way back to Mission Impossible. Was it Part 2 with Doug Ray Scott? It was. Doug Ray Scott was the bad guy in Mission Impossible 2. He was originally cast as Wolverine. Mm-hmm. And Mission Impossible 2 went past its finish date. And he couldn't do it, and they pulled Hugh Jackman out of nowhere because he literally got the call.
So Hugh Jackman was the backup.
He was the backup. Man. He was Plan B, and I think don't quote me on this, but someone told me like he got the call like 2 or 3 days before he was supposed to be on set.
Really?
Like they just couldn't like.
That's crazy.
And by the way, where is Doug Ray Scott now?
I know, right? What a bummer.
I still don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. Sadly, I remember him as the prince from the Drew Barrymore fantasy movie, and
oh my gosh,
we don't talk about it.
Oh my gosh, just breathe. That's all I remember from it. Just breathe.
Just breathe. Okay.
All those chicks got those breathe tattoos.
All right, we'll review that in a future episode. The whole movie.
We really won't.
Speaking of which,
there's.
Why don't we throw in some information about X-Men: Days of Future Past since it's so closely related, same universe here.
Okay.
Halle Berry news.
Yeah, big Halle Berry news. They asked her back for some reason, even though nobody wants her back, and she's obviously the worst Storm ever, and that she doesn't give two shits about the part. And fuck her.
Hey,
why is she on this?
Let's say something nice about Halle Berry. She's a great actress. But I don't think she cares about being in an X-Men movie.
No, she doesn't.
I think it's awesome that she accepted the Razzie Award in person for Catwoman.
I do, yes.
Yeah. I think that's rad.
But she's already screwed up 2 characters.
I think I've seen her do some amazing Oscar-worthy performances.
Oh, yeah.
She has an Oscar that she totally deserved.
Yeah. Was that Monsters Ball she was in, or Monster? Lost.
Oh, God, now I can't remember, and I'm going to feel bad about it.
Monsters Ball.
Monsters Ball.
Right.
Same year as Denzel. But
it's a good movie. You should watch.
It is. She does not give a shit about X-Men.
She doesn't care about Storm.
I mean, she phoned that stuff in.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous that, because of her, we didn't get to see more characters because she wanted more screen time. You know? So, I mean, it's like, that sucks.
Is that a rumor or is that true?
No, that's true. Like, that's true. Like, the reason why Nightcrawler didn't come back and other people didn't come back and that Gambit wasn't included and all these other things that you were excited about seeing was because she demanded a larger role if she was going to.
So that's getting back to what I was saying. The problem with celebrities in these.
There you go. Not actors, celebrities.
Yeah.
There you go.
And that studios and the producers in charge are like, no, celebrities come first. Because that's what runs Hollywood.
Well, I got really excited because I heard that she is pregnant right now. So I was hoping to God that she would be like, well, I can't do it because I'm pregnant. And it's not going to, mash up. But they're still going to stick her in there and then just make her do... I don't know how they're going to cover it up. I don't know how they're going to... Man, it's fucking Halle Berry, man. It's just like there's... And that's another thing that really upsets me. It's just like... There's not another black actress in Hollywood.
There's plenty of them.
But it's like, they keep giving them to the same handful of actresses.
Yeah.
I mean, they keep giving these roles to the same handful of actresses, and it's like, I would love to see an unknown black actress play Storm and Rocket.
I'd love to see an unknown for every single part.
Yeah.
Just like Game of Thrones. Not that they're all completely unknown, but when you see them, it's not distracting because you're like, oh my gosh, there's a famous person. So, Kirk, you had a really good suggestion that I heard you were talking about. Who would be good for Storm?
But, because there was, are there other black actresses? Hell yes, there are. And it's going to sound dumb. Do you guys remember the movie Clueless?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Alicia Silverstone.
I've seen it like 10 times.
Okay.
It's really good.
It's actually good.
Circus Liquor is like right up from our house.
Right, it's right down the street. Oh, wait, Smallville Clark Kent's in it too.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're going to have to
Paul Rudd was in there.
We have to do an entire episode about Clueless. Anyways, one of the friends was Stacey Dash. And pull up her picture. Take one good look at her right now.
Oh, yeah. Here she is.
And look!
She looks...
Are you telling me that could not have been a better Rogue? Look at her.
Perfect.
Storm.
Better Storm, excuse me.
Yes, that would be.
I'm not even.
I am okay with that.
Look,
I'm okay with Stacey Dash.
She looks exactly like I imagine Storm looking.
Like she's got a comic book look. She's beautiful. She would have
give her some white hair.
You know.
Give her the mohawk.
I know. I'd love to see the mohawk.
So why can't they cast her now?
I don't know. She's kind of disappeared a little bit
because Halle Berry.
Oh, because Halle Berry.
Because Halle Berry. You know, and it's just.
And this isn't a Halle Berry hate train I'm riding right now. It's just I feel like
I just want to see people.
It's an anti-celebrity train, is what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, at some point, someone's not thinking outside the box with like the casting on this stuff.
Yeah.
So when we talk about like, I thought like X-Men 3, as much drivel as it was. Like, Kelsey Grammer was totally the easy cast.
He was the easy cast.
For Beast.
Yes, he was.
You know, and it's not a celebrity. That's that's a good actor. No, perfect.
And he worked. Yeah. You know, he worked really well. I mean the thing looked a little weird.
It did, but like, I mean, he's Oh My Stars and Garters.
Yes.
And he's making jokes about being in the blue and yellow, his old uniform.
Yes.
You know, it was cool. Like, that's fun. That's fun casting for those films.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's like he is a good fit.
Right.
You know, like as Frasier and stuff, I was a big fan of Frasier. Like, growing up, I watched the hell out of that show. And, like, yes, he has the cadence, like, the way he talks. He's obviously the smart guy. You know, like, he sounds... Like, in my head, yes. Like, yes.
And that was probably... the redeeming factor I get from X-Men 3 is
the only thing. Like,
it's, you know.
Although what's her face as Shadowcat was all right. I'll give her that. Damn it!
I just want to keep calling her Juno.
I know, Juno.
And that's not fair to her because she's an awesome actress.
We should call this podcast name dropping.
I know.
Hey guys, you dropped something. Let me pick it up for you. Oh, it's a name.
Yeah, it's let's see here. Oh, Ellen Page.
Ellen Page.
Yeah, Ellen Page was good as Shadowcat. I'll take that.
I like that one.
But I think the big thing that we're getting at, that we'd like to get this idea out into the consciousness, is that casting celebrities is not good for comic book movies, and you don't need it.
Yeah. No, not at all.
I really feel like, what if the X-Men were a TV show like Game of Thrones instead? They wouldn't have the same problem like, well, we've got to get this famous person and that famous person, because that's the first thing they go to in Hollywood. Well, the first thing they do. And it would make it so much better if they didn't. If they just found good actors instead that fit the part.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and look at Chris Hemsworth. I mean, he was essentially an unknown until he was cast as Thor. You know.
Well, he was also don't forget
he was Captain Kirk's dad.
He was Kirk's dad.
He was Kirk's dad, but nobody knew. You know,
but it's like perfect for Thor.
But he was perfect for Thor, and that's like someone got brave and took a chance,
and it paid off. You know, it paid off.
And that poor guy made Cabin in the Woods almost a year and a half, 2 years before any of those projects started rolling.
Yeah.
So this guy had a starring role in a film as an unknown. They got shelved.
Yeah.
And he still was able to pull
out. Was Cabin in the Woods shelved for that long?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know
they couldn't find any distribution for it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know. Imagine what happened. Like, imagine if they took Serenity, the movie now, and re-release it and just put by the director of Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
Watch that thing make a gazillion more dollars.
You know what? Now that you think about it, it's like, why didn't they release Cabin in the Woods after the Avengers? Like a month later, and be like, from the same director as the Avengers.
Yeah.
That would have made so much more money.
I think Joss executive produced on it.
Oh.
But he still co-wrote and was on set every day.
It's his, it's obviously his baby, you know.
Whatever, they could have put Joss Whedon all over it.
From the executive producer who directed Avengers.
And again, with the casting with Robert Downey Jr., I mean, it's perfect because he cares about the role. He is that role. Like,
he's not a celebrity. That was a good actor for the good part.
Yeah, and so it's like, I'm not against seeing A-list celebrities necessarily.
No, God, no.
But at the same time, I want to see celebrities who are good fits, who care.
But I think in the end, certain A-list celebrities got cast for the sake of them just being an A-list celebrity.
I don't want to see Angelina Jolie cast as anyone in any X movie ever.
There's no fit for her.
Like, ever, you know?
Actually, I take that back. She would have made an awesome White Queen.
White Queen? No. Maybe.
Well, better than January Jones.
Well, anyone's better than January Jones.
Apparently, her mutant power was ruining every scene she was in.
Jeez, she was really bad.
I'm sorry.
I know, it's like, talk about somebody who didn't give a fuck.
I feel like she was intentionally being flat. She was just so...
And the thing that kills me about her is that in real life, she is an Ice Queen cunt. Like, she is White Queen in real life.
And they still keep getting, like, pictures of her leaving, like, dudes' houses like, the day after parties.
Yes, all the time. And, like, and that's great. Like, you would have thought she would have brought that to...
In fact, the next time I ever see January Jones, if I'm ever lucky enough to, like, sneak into, like, a red carpet event, like, hi, my name's Kirk. I do a podcast. And just cross my fingers and see what happens for me.
Dude, no, you expect to probably get some frowns your way, like some cold shoulders. You'll probably, she'll probably tear your head off with an evil look.
So we've covered Wolverine and the Days of Future Past movie pretty well here.
Yeah well, okay. So. Well, can I just end on one note?
All right, end on one note.
Man, I think that if we can make enough money with our Kickstarter...
Hey!
Maybe we could do, like, a fan film type situation.
Yeah,
and show people what a great fucking X-Men movie could look like. You know, I mean, I would love to show other people what it could be. Look at all the fun
fan-made stuff they have out there right now.
Yes, and I want to kind of get in on that. We really want to,
and especially like with the internet and YouTube and with everything, like the guys that have the money behind these films need to start taking notice.
Well, Hollywood needs to understand that just because you have the money to do something doesn't mean you know what you're doing.
Right.
You know, just because you have $200 million to make an X-Men movie doesn't mean it's going to be a good X-Men movie.
No, not at all.
You have to have people who care about it, that are working on it, and who really, understand what they're doing.
Well, you're getting at this thing that I'm starting to discover, is that Hollywood is full of just people that are just there to say something, and they just talk. And they just put out one opinion, because if they don't say something, they're afraid they're going to get fired.
Yeah.
So they always have to have an opinion. Everyone has an opinion, and you have 100 people that get in the way.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
And then the weird thing, the counterpoint to that is that you have the extreme opposite of people who are afraid to say anything, because then they think the paper trail is going to lead back to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's no middle ground where...
Yeah, it's how good decisions and bad decisions, you know, like good decisions don't get made, and how bad decisions do get made.
So there you have it, guys. We fixed Hollywood in a small little conversation right there. Just do it.
Right. Okay,
so now
we're moving on, right?
Yes. We didn't want that one to end yet.
All right, so moving on, let's talk about the last movie that we all saw, which was Jurassic Park 3D.
Dinos in 3D!
Man, it was totally worth it.
Oh my god!
All right, let's take care of the people that are like, 3D, I don't watch that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like 3D. I'm not like a huge proponent of 3D, but at the same time, it's
I just want to point out, neither am I, but...
So none of us really care for 3D.
You know, the retrofitting of 3D on this was phenomenal. It was fantastic because it wasn't shot originally in 3D. So, I mean, it looked like they just had a strong foreground, middle ground, background, and it was very subtle, and like you almost forgot about it during the film, and it wasn't annoying, and it wasn't like things flying at your face. I
feel like because the movie's been around like 20 years now, that they really took their time with it. Like,
possibly.
I mean, whoever they got to, I really want to look it up because kudos to them.
You know what? You're right, because if I were what's it called, rotoscoper? If I were a rotoscoper having to work, I would love to work on that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is one of my favorite shots. I'll cut this dinosaur up.
Let me show you how much I love this scene right here.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it was done right, and so that's why, especially I went to go see it in IMAX 3D.
Oh, you did?
Which I thought was going to be overwhelming, and it wasn't.
Really?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somehow when I was watching, I was just like, I've seen these shots so many times.
Yeah.
And somehow it was like so fresh to see it again in a different way. And I don't know if that's what kind of persuaded me to think the 3D was better. Or maybe the 3D was better. I don't know.
And no pun intended, but you know what really popped out for me this time around was the extras in a lot of the scenes.
Yeah. I did notice a lot of things in the background.
Like, especially when they shoot the X-ray into the ground with that little, like, cannon thing when they're doing the first dig.
Yeah.
And you're watching all these dudes with beards and stuff like that.
Oh, you saw the guy with the mullet and the shorty shorts on?
Yeah.
Yes, I saw him for the first time, too.
And I'm looking at these people like, I don't even think these are Hollywood extras. Like, I wonder if Spielberg was like, hey, let's get actual, like, diggers, because we need, like, genuine people for the scene. But that was the stuff that really popped out at me. It was, like, these really great, fun little, like, details.
In a couple of years, we won't even have to dig anymore.
Where's the fun in that? Like, I don't know. Somebody was saying something.
I guess we're instinct.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I love all the puns. I'm a big pun proponent. But somebody was saying, so, could you please get on there and tear up Jurassic Park? And I just want to be like, I will never tear up Jurassic Park ever. It's like, yes, there are problems here and there. There's a few things, whatever. But at the same time, it's like, fuck you, that movie is so good.
I'm sorry. Say shit about that CGI 20 years ago.
Dude,
say shit about it.
I mean, it's like, the only thing that doesn't really stand up as well as everything else, which, keep in mind, everything else stands up, is the first shot of the Brachiosaurus.
Yeah.
But that one was a little shaky, but it still wasn't bad.
But every other shot was flawlessly perfect and better than most CGI today.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Fuck you.
Like I said, talk shit about that CGI. I dare you.
And it's because
20 years ago.
It's because they flawlessly fit in puppetry with CGI. You know, like when they needed to have a puppet, they had a puppet head.
The Triceratops scene.
Yes, like that was a fucking puppet.
That's a puppet, but there's something about it that feels puppet about that.
Jesus, it looks so good. And the T-Rex head, you know, when he's like, I mean, come on, man. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, if we're going to talk about CGI in that movie, a lot of people... Like, when that came out, that was a huge change with everyone being like, CGI is the new thing.
No, I shit my pants when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So many people were saying, oh, think about the future, what they'll be able to do in 20 years, 10 years.
That's what I said.
But CGI has not gotten better.
No, and that's
it's
crazy.
Not necessarily
all you have to do is watch a sci-fi made-for-TV film to know that.
I know.
But I think you should get this idea across, is like, the reason CGI isn't better is because it's not about the technology, it's about the artists who make it.
Yes.
And the tool set...
And the time.
That is a very good point.
The tool set is basically the exact same thing they've had. And that was 1993.
Yeah.
That was so long ago. That was before anybody had Windows 95. That was before the internet. And everyone had, we all had the internet. We didn't
even have a chance to talk shit anonymously about Jurassic Park yet. Like, we just didn't even have the technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and the thing is the thing that I love about it is that it was such a gamble on Steven Spielberg's part, because when he was first developing it, he was just going to use some really crazy stop motion animation stuff going on. Yes, originally it was all set to do it, and he had these people working on these really crazy stop motion animation things that were really high level stuff. And then he was like, no, this isn't real enough. This isn't real enough. We have to do something more. And it was like the first movie where somebody really took a chance. And if his CGI hadn't worked out, it would have ruined, like, it would have. Well,
they would have gone.
It would have been a hit.
They would have gone with Phil Tippett's Go Motion. Is what it was, would have looked like what's the name of the movie? Stop motion. It was popular before that.
The Harry Harryhausen stuff.
No.
The Ray Harryhausen stuff.
Name dropping the show.
Okay. We'll figure it out.
Moving on.
But yeah, it's crazy that he just took such a gamble. He's like, you know what? We're just going to try it in CGI, even though no one's ever done this before.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, they already had all these puppets made. They already had all these really highly articulated things. They already had
Titans. That was it.
That was it. Okay.
Well, that was Ray Harryhausen, but whatever.
Not the Clash of the Titans that came out last year.
No, the original one with Harry Hamlin.
The real Clash of the Titans.
Yes. But that's like.
By the way, name dropped Harry Hamlin. That's right.
Yes. Yeah, it's just an amazing film. It's an amazing film. When I shit my pants when I was a little kid, I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe it.
You have expected a Tyrannosaurus Rex to pop out, like,
I was seriously
from the street when you got back in your car.
Oh yeah, that was real. That was like, that's not a CGI. That's real.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even understand.
Off the fence.
I was like, what is this? How can they make this? And my parents were like, well, they made it with a computer. And I was like, what? What do you mean? Like, I had no
little,
fucking
6-year-old comic book girl.
clue. Like, how?
It was like the little tiny pig mohawk.
Like, what? Like, you've got to be shitting me. Like, what does that even mean? Like, it's crazy.
And yeah, if you told me when I was a little kid, like, oh no, they're doing it with computers, I just expected to see, like, Tron dinosaurs.
I would honestly try to, like, wrap my mind around that for the longest time. Even when we were watching Next Generation, you know, and, like, you see the planets and the little ship going around. That was all CGI. That was also one of the first CGI things that I was really exposed to. And I was like, how do they make this in a computer? I just don't understand.
You know, this brings up another interesting point about Jurassic Park that I think that we should share. I think about anyone that's young today that wasn't around when that movie came out, because that was a big summer movie. That was
huge.
And the reason was it was like the time. It was like, it's 1993, and it's like we're in a new decade. Kind of like where it's 2013, we're now in the next decade. It's no longer the 2000s officially. Like, it feels like a new decade is starting now.
Yeah.
1993 is when the last decade of the 20th century, when it felt like this is it. And then you have this movie about genetic engineering and bringing back dinosaurs. That idea is so futuristic. It felt like we were in the future.
But now we're cloning sheep, and we're using not brain cells. Well, we barely.
You tell me that somebody out there has not cloned a human, though. You try to tell me that. There's some weirdo asshole. There's some Frankenstein out there who's done it.
Oh, yeah,
like,
they'll do it if they can do it. But what I was getting at is, like, everyone, when they saw that movie, it felt like this is the future.
Right.
And you had the idea of, we used computers to create dinosaurs. So you had the theme is about genetic engineering, but you also have technology is creating things that are amazing on our screen.
Yeah.
Right. So everyone was there just feeling like this is new and we're moving.
This is the next frontier.
Yes.
This is the next
Yes.
That's a good point.
Absolutely.
That's really
that
cool.
energy was in the air, and I think people that are young today don't know what that feeling
Oh,
is.
You know what the shame was? Because I went to go see an early matinee showing. I mean, opening day, because I had to go to work later. But I was really expecting. I was preparing myself for the kid factor.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of kids are going to be in the theater, and I'm just going to have to deal with it. No, it was everyone our age.
There's only one kid in our show.
We didn't have a single kid in our theater. I'm talking the IMAX.
I really wanted to stop that kid though and ask him what he thought about it, but it would have looked weird. But it's like approaching other people's children is not smart in public.
What was it you laughed at?
He laughed at when he said, "Hold on to your butts."
Yes,
he laughed. He was like audibly laughed.
There is hope for that kid, and he's going to grow up and be awesome.
Yeah. Well, somebody was telling me though on Twitter that they said that they had asked their nephew or somebody to go with them, like a kid, and the kid said that movie was too old and that he did not want to go see it in the theater. And he said he had to stay his hand.
That makes my heart sad.
And it's like, damn it, no.
Let's not talk about that.
Okay,
yeah,
sorry,
depressing.
I'm trying not to.
Can we just end this on Jurassic Park is awesome?
Dude, it's
and Jurassic
so
Park
good.
3D totally met and exceeded all our expectations.
Very, very much worth it. Very much worth it. And like just to see Jeff Goldblum in 3D, it's fantastic. I know.
You know what
I gotta tell you, man. I got the biggest thing for Dr. Ian Malcolm, man. It's just like if there was ever a character made for me, it's
I'll go back and watch part 2.
A chaos mathematician who's like all crazy. That's like me in the movie. If I was in the movie and if I had to like be someone, I would be Dr. Ian Malcolm. You know.
There you go.
So this is a good time to bring it up since we're wrapping up this segment on Jurassic Park that we are doing future episode on Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park 4
and
that's
Jurassic
screwed
Park
up.
4. And it's going to be
Jurassic
awesome.
Park 4?
Yeah.
Someone needed to say that. I'm sorry. But
1 year from now, we'll be having Jurassic Park 4, probably in May or June.
Which may or may not be a travesty.
We'll
see.
Well, we did do the research. They announced who the director was. I don't know his name right now off the top of my head.
Save it for the segment. Don't give away your whole show for that.
I'm not.
Oh, okay. In that case, keep going.
No, he's got a million things to say. Don't even worry.
Yeah, don't worry. They announced who the director of Jurassic Park 4 was, and so we went and watched his first movie, which was called what was the name?
Safety Not Guaranteed.
Yeah, Safety Not Guaranteed.
Yes, I loved that flick.
Did you? I thought it was really good, but not necessarily
Jurassic Park 4.
No. It wasn't overwhelming. It was just I don't know. Maybe I was in the right
indie movie.
I was maybe just in the right mood at the right time. I just needed that. I just needed.
Surprised you've seen it. That's great.
Yeah, I needed sweet. I needed.
It is a very sweet movie,
yeah.
and I realized I think the reason that he got hired is because Steven Spielberg really loves that type of heartstring grabbing film.
It did go back to like, and it didn't follow the whole. We're a group of kids off on an adventure, but the camaraderie and the banter between the main characters definitely showed that element of a Spielberg group entourage film.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why
at the same time, it had a lot of good things going on for it. It was very much an independent movie. It had that indie stink to it. It feels a little uncomfortable if you're not used to it.
There's somebody whistling with an acoustic guitar.
What was that about?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, well, this guy's done one movie, and it's a little makes you a little nervous if you really have high hope for Jurassic Park 4. I'm trying not to, but
it's too late for you, bro.
Yeah.
It's too late,
man.
That if for everyone out there, like Jurassic Park is seriously like T-Bone's deal in life. Like that is like his.
Well, no, it was Jurassic Park. Also, the sequel, The Lost World, ruined my childhood.
It did. Well, because
I was looking forward to it so bad. But we'll get into that later.
That's a whole other bag of shit.
All right.
That's a big pile of shit.
Yes.
Segue accomplished. Moving on. Do we want to talk about Oblivion because that's coming out this month. This month.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying earlier, I'm more excited about Elysium than Oblivion.
But Oblivion is for people who don't know.
Well, yeah, it's new sci-fi flick coming out with
Tom Cruise. I mean, I know everyone knows, but we're still saying it.
Yeah, and it looks as if there's some major war on Earth and everyone's gone, and Tom Cruise is a cleanup crew, and then they're getting ready to leave or something. I don't know. There might be some sort of moon situation going on, when maybe they're being screwed over by some corporation. I'm not sure.
They are showing you in the preview. They're showing you a lot of cool stuff, but they're not really showing you like what it's
very
really all
vague.
about. Yeah,
it's very, very vague.
I like his balls ship.
I do like his phallic ship. It looks really good. I saw it at WonderCon. It looked very glorious.
Is it very phallic?
It was very phallic,
all right.
Which is fine. You know, I mean, there's a lot of phallic stuff out there. But the thing that I'm kind of stuck on, and this is just kind of a personal thing for me, is just like I'm just so over Tom Cruise playing Tom Cruise saving the world and cool guy, and you know what I'm saying? It's like I want to see him. Like, you know, Death Becomes Her, where Bruce Willis plays, you know.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Fucking piece of shit, and he's just an alcoholic, and he looks like ass.
And he completely, okay.
And he's like, and he's just timid, and women walk all over him.
He played the opposite Bruce Willis character.
He was like the nega Bruce Willis.
Do you remember, was it Tropic Thunder?
Yes, when he played Les Grossman. Tom Cruise plays Les Grossman, the producer.
Why isn't he not picking up more stuff? Because that made me believe in Tom Cruise again.
Yeah, that was a really smart PR move. That was really...
And it was, but it also showed, like, he still has acting chops.
Yeah.
Like, he was nigh unrecognizable for some people during that film.
Yeah, and I would like to see him do something a little different. You know? Like, I mean, I don't hate on Tom Cruise or anything.
He was also great in that, speaking of being out of character, of not being Tom Cruise in a movie, that Wes Anderson movie, he was playing the sex counselor.
Oh, he was so good, yeah. Magnolia.
Magnolia, of course.
Yeah.
A very famous movie that I
that's right.
He's like, respect the cock, tame the cunt. You know, it's just like, whoa.
Did you ever call the 1-800 number? That was the promo for that.
I did not.
It was Tom Cruise was the pre-recorded voice.
Really.
And it's him giving the spiel, and it's really like
that was before the world had mystery and the mystery method.
Right.
Famous.
But no, it's like you said, Tom Cruise being badass Tom Cruise in one movie after the other.
Yeah,
I get it. You're going to save the world. You're going to run a lot. Yeah. He runs a lot.
A lot. He's got a lot of cardio going.
And
well, what are you saying? Would you rather have?
Well, not if not Tom Cruise.
I just want to see Tom Cruise in other films.
I just want to see want to see Tom Cruise do something else besides the big I save the world action. Flick.
I don't care who knows. I liked Jerry Maguire.
You know,
I liked it. That was a cool, fun character for him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was at least it was like a character, where he's like, I'm not.
So you're saying Tom Cruise has been just the hero type one to me?
Yeah,
a lot.
Just a bit too much, you know.
No problem with that.
It's a bit too much. I'm ready to. And he's not a bad actor. Like I said, he's not a bad actor. I would like to see him.
No, he's got staying power. He's still got to draw, and
he's crazy as hell, but he can act.
Yes.
Well, I like that he's kind of shown his age. I felt like finally a little bit.
Oh, he's terrified.
Of aging?
Yeah, I read a blind gossip where he tried to dye his hair because he was getting raised and he fucked it up and stuff. I'm like,
he's looked the same age for the last 30 years, it seems, though.
Yeah, but he's gonna have a really hard time when he really starts aging, though. He's really not gonna.
Hold on, maybe you're onto something. Maybe he's picking these roles because he's not ready to.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's why he's so like we're doing Mission Impossibles as many as we can right now.
Yeah.
Because maybe he doesn't want to admit that he's.
Yeah. Well, same with if you notice, Bruce Willis has really started doing a lot of stuff lately too, and it's
when has he never done a lot of stuff though?
Well, I don't know. Bruce Willis lately has really been I don't know. He's been. A lot.
Bruce Willis is playing the aging badass in a lot of stuff he's been doing.
Yeah.
So it's still role appropriate, but then you see him in the latest Wes Anderson film, or not Wes Anderson. What am I thinking of? The last one. Moonrise Kingdom, that was it.
I didn't see that one.
I have it on Blu-ray. You guys have to try it out.
Okay, yeah. My grandma said she hated it, but I think I
loved it. Wes Anderson films are just really sweet, and it's really fun to see Bruce Willis play a different.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say he showed his sensitive side, but there's definitely it was an age appropriate role, and of course Wes Anderson films are really really quirky and have that innocence about them. So it was fun to see Bruce Willis suddenly in that environment and that world.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, Death Becomes Her, man. He
was great in that.
I'm so jealous that I didn't write that movie.
Or even when he get uncredited role in 4 Rooms.
Oh, yeah.
That was a fun character for him to watch. Just him pacing around back and forth, just a little drunk, maybe a little high, and in a fight with his ex-wife or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, so we didn't really give a single opinion yet on...
Well,
I'm afraid to.
There's not much to say. It's such a vague trailer, and I'm just...
I mean...
I'm not excited about it, I'll tell you that.
Morgan Freeman looks really badass.
I want to see it. I really want to see it.
Well, I'm sure we're going to.
We're going to see it.
I might wait until...
You'll be paying.
I might wait until rental or Blu-ray.
This one's on you.
Anyway.
Guess who's paying for that?
We have a responsibility to see every big sci-fi movie this summer.
I know.
Since this is our job now.
It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with.
Okay, moving on.
I got the Stubbs card the other day.
Do we want to talk any more about Iron Man 3? Is there any more to say?
Fuck yes.
All right, let's do it.
Fuck yes.
I mean, every time they've done it, they've done it right. You know, I feel like. I mean, yeah, that's the one thing. The one criticism I have of the Iron Man movies is that I felt like the villains have always been a little weak sauce. And this villain, the Mandarin, is not weak sauce.
No,
like
this
he's a full-blown arch nemesis
yes,
villain.
this is the fun part, because they didn't want every Iron Man film to fall into, here's good Iron Man, and now introducing this movie's bad version of Iron Man.
Yeah.
And bringing the Mandarin into this is and this is like really cool, because Shane Black's directing and helped co-write the script. And a lot of people know, but like he did the original Lethal Weapon.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, screenplays, and
the specs for the writers are really good.
It's great, and a lot of people, a little special film that you need to go watch with Robert Downey Jr. when he was kind of doing like the whole comeback kick was called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang with Val Kilmer, and that was Shane Black's first directorial debut.
Oh.
So he's got history with Downey Jr.
This is going to be good.
And it's just, it fits in this world of, I want to see Tony Stark not completely being a badass right now. I want to see him like on the ropes, and I want to see him like rise up to become better than he is, because that's what the first Iron Man was. First Iron Man is like, man, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I got to like step up and become like better.
Right.
I think now like the ego's there. He's still Tony Stark again. Like he's still Iron Man. And for the films, it's going to play out really well to see someone kind of like bitch slap him.
Yeah.
And let him know.
Well, and especially coming off the Avengers film where he didn't just save the day by himself. He had to be on a team to deal with shit, you know? And like, so he's kind of like, man, I'm not the big fish.
No, not at all.
Anymore. Now I'm a small fish in a big pond.
There's a Hulk out there.
There's a Hulk out there,
that's
sure.
That's the thing about Iron Man 3 that I'm so excited about, is to see where are they going to go now that the world is so much bigger.
It's not just Earth anymore. Now there's bigger things to deal with.
And I really feel like this is going to be the best Iron Man movie.
I'm excited.
I really feel, and especially the way he looks, you know, the way they do all the animations and everything for that, get better and better every time.
Have you seen that they've released, like, there's like 6 costumes, 6 new suits?
Oh, jeez.
Gotta
sell them toys.
The end of the movie.
I want to see them all in the movie, too.
Yeah, like the end of the movie, they're teasing it. It's just going to be like this giant Iron Man armory, orgasmic, like, final battle.
I heard Pepper Potts is going to be in a suit. She's going to suit up.
If you watch the international trailer, there's a small tease in it.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Although,
and then they're going to talk about extremists.
If I were Tony Stark, I'd make my girlfriend a suit. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? I would be pissed if I didn't get an Iron Man suit and I was dating Robert Downey Jr.
Hint, wink, wink.
You know, I'd be like, what? Why don't I get one?
But yeah, like it's based. I mean, I think they're going to start bringing the extremist storyline by Warren Ellis.
Yeah.
Which has been a really huge part of current.
Yes.
Iron Man.
Why don't you explain what's going on with Extremis?
Extremis was that it went above and beyond just the arc reactor in his chest. Mm-hmm. The Extremis was actually like on the most basic, small. Oh, what would you call it? Like a micro
subatomic.
Yeah, like mini microorganisms, just that actually live in Stark's body.
Oh, so yeah, it's like a super soldier serum.
It's like almost, and what would happen is it would bleed out. Nanobots. It was nanobot technology that just improved the human condition as it was by itself. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just the suit anymore. Now, like, it went above and beyond. Like, he'd improved himself.
Can't he like talk to machines biology and stuff now? Like with the
they don't really touch on it, but back then, yeah.
Yeah.
And so when the Extremis connection comes out, it's an immediate, more like instantaneous connection with the Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
And so Extremis was like a biological advancement through not necessarily like the
a biomechanical.
Yeah, so instead of like through like better living through chemistry, this was the super soldier serum known through science and technology and like robotics.
Which, by the way, we've been promised awesome nanotechnology for like fucking like 20 years now.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet, and I'm getting pissed off.
I want it.
Well, yeah, but getting back to Tony Stark, like he's always the guy who's more advanced than anyone else. He's got better technology than the government, than all countries combined. Mm-hmm.
Right.
So if anyone was going to have nanobots, it would be him. So that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
Logically.
And especially goes back to part 2 when like the U.S. government's like, you got to give us this stuff. And he's like, no. So Rhodey steals, or quote-unquote steals, War Machine. Which I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bummed that he's going to be Iron Patriot in this one. That's like my only
Oh, really?
gripe.
Why are you bummed about that?
Well, because Iron Patriot was taken out of Marvel Comics, and it was actually Harry Osborn, Green Goblin, that was in the suit.
So it should be another character.
Yeah, like I want to see Rhodey as War Machine.
War Machine, yeah.
Like,
well, that's the thing. It's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. I mean, like, people love War Machine.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like, I might be completely off point on this one because who knows what the film's actually going to... Like,
right.
This is all speculation.
It is. Take it with a grain of salt.
But I'm excited about Ben Kingsley on board. He's kind of doing a Bane thing with the weird voice. But I kind of like it.
I like it, too.
Just like, consider myself a teacher.
Yeah.
You know? And it's
it's like, you'll never see me coming.
Like,
all right.
I kind of dig it. I'm like, ooh, that sounds
Who the fuck am I? You were Gandhi, bitch.
I know,
I can't say anything.
That's what's so great about the Iron Man films is they have the most character. Like, these characters are so strong.
Oh, come on. Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
In the first one.
Sam Rockwell. I love Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell's awesome.
I love that he dances.
Guy Pearce is in this one,
in every movie. I think so,
Guy Pearce is in
Guy Pearce is in the third one, yes.
Okay, again, celebrities who are talented, not just for the sake of being A-list.
Sam Rockwell is out of control. So is Guy Pearce. I mean, so is Jeff Bridges. Like, all phenomenal, you know. I mean, and what's his face? What's his face from the second one?
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke, yeah. Like,
you know what? Here's the thing. I think Iron Man, and I liked Iron Man 2, but the reason I don't think it gets as much like, oh, it wasn't as good as part 1, is because I think they kind of kept Mickey Rourke subdued.
Yeah, they did.
I think he wanted to kind of go all out with the character.
Yeah.
And they didn't let him. And so that's why the movie almost kind of plays off his portrayal.
Well, like,
it's very like...
And again, it's like, it's confusing as to who his real enemy is, because it's like you have Mickey Rourke, but then you also have Sam Rockwell's, like, you know, company that's, you know, their whole deal.
I've got a theory on why people talk about Iron Man 2 as if it wasn't that good. Why they feel it was a disappointment.
Well, let's hear it.
Some people say that. And I think the reason is, and I like Iron Man 2. I think it's really good.
I think it's a great flick.
I love it because it's about Tony Stark having to go up against the government. And it's like, what would happen in the real world if you had someone that had a super powerful suit and it was more powerful than any of the technology anyone else had? Yeah. The government would be like, whoa, you're a threat. You could really take us out if you wanted to.
Right.
This is dangerous. Right? So it was about that, real life stuff. And I love seeing comic book characters dealing with real life stuff.
And especially because the government's like, first he goes, I'm not going to develop weapons anymore. But now I have the ultimate weapon to defend us. Now the government's like, well, hold on. We don't get to play with your toys anymore.
Yeah.
But now you came out with the coolest toy, and we want to totally play with it.
But it's like an ego hit against the government.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what?
Well, I mean,
the military. I mean, but the reason I think a lot of people don't necessarily like it, because they were expecting something bigger, like a bigger storyline. Like Iron Man goes up against fights, I don't know, Hulk or some kind of character.
Yeah, they wanted bigger.
Bing, bang, boom.
It's staying grounded, though, and I think people were expecting it to
Dragon Man
go somewhere else.
Yeah. But I'm just super fucking stoked on this one.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
I think it's going to be good.
All right, well, moving
on.
Where are we moving to?
Oh, come on.
That was Iron Man 3. We've talked about Wolverine. We've talked about Jurassic Park.
Let's do it.
I think that's it. Let's take your Twitter questions.
Let's do Twitter questions.
All right, let's do movie-related and TV, Game of Thrones-related Twitter questions.
Let's see if I can find some tweets. It's from Nosfra2, and he asks, how about who Jon Snow's parents are? My cadre's working theory is Robert Baratheon and Lyanna Stark. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, and this is a more well-known theory on the internet, that Jon Snow's parents potentially could be Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen.
By the way, we went back to Game of Thrones. I know there's been a few people going, what the F right now?
Yeah, Game of Thrones. We're going to do a little bit of Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
So, yeah, I mean...
Or as I like to call it, Castle Affairs.
I like that, actually. We should stick with that. I do like the idea that Jon Snow's parents are Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark, and that they were both betrothed to other people, and that they fell in love with one another, and that he did not kidnap her, that she went willingly with him. And it's never stated how she died in the book. It's never stated it. Seeing as how everything else is fucking stated 25,000 years ago, you know, the first men came. You know what I'm saying? There's so many details, and yet this one elusive detail about Lyanna Stark dying, and they never say why. You know, I think there's something about a bed of blood, and it's like, bed of blood, that's called childbirth, my friend. Like, she died in childbirth, probably giving, you know, childbirth, whatever, to Jon Snow. And then she's like, I love him, Ned, take care of him. So Ned, he would take the blame, you know. It all fits.
I've also learned just to take a step back neatly when you are talking Game of Thrones. Because your mind works way quicker when it comes to Game of Thrones. go.
I know it's a lot. It's a lot.
Well,
but
we've been studying it a lot lately.
I know. Yeah. Well,
I've been watching the
Speaking
videos.
of which, Game of Thrones history goes back 12,500 years, not 25,000.
Oh, sorry, 12,500. Excuse me.
Thanks, fact checker.
But yeah, I mean, that would be really awesome. And this is another theory to add on to that. So, okay, if you think about it. So when Aegon, say it right this time apparently, when Aegon came over with his two wives.
It's Aegon, excuse me.
The dragon has 3 heads. Bottom line, the dragon has 3 heads, okay? Sigil, the dragon has 3 heads. So, potentially, there would be 3 Targaryens to take over Westeros again. Potentially. Whereas, obviously, Daenerys Targaryen is one of them. Potentially, Jon Snow could be one of them. And then also, potentially, and this is a lesser-known one, I think, but I was doing some research.
Ooh, this is the underdog theory.
Yes, this is like... I've not heard anyone saying this, is that potentially Tyrion could be... the son of Aerys the Mad King, maybe because everyone knows that Aerys lusted after Joanna Lannister, which was what's his face, Tywin Lannister's wife.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying? King gets what King wants, especially crazy King who burns people alive. So he could have, gotten with Joanna with or without her consent, gotten her with child. She died in childbirth because it says that Tyrion's hair is very white in the book. It's not gold like the other Lannisters. Right. And he has one black eye, which Daenerys Targaryen has really dark eyes, purple eyes. They're so dark they look black. So if Tyrion was the 3rd Targaryen, that would be awesome. I just want to see them take the Iron Throne, man.
Castle affairs.
Oh, I love it.
So that's a rumor that's not in the book or show, but could possibly be happening.
Yes. Potentially. And Tywin does say at some point, you are no son of mine. I can't prove that you're not my son. Why would you say that? Specifically that I can't prove you're not my son.
Right.
It's
an odd way to phrase that kind of
thing. It's an odd way to phrase
it's a very, put it out of your mind, but I want you to really dwell on it.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Do
you see why I just take a step back when you just go?
I know. It's a lot.
It's amazing.
Facebook questions?
Facebook and Twitter questions.
So Karen asks, what are our thoughts on female comic book characters, and do you think any of them could be a main protagonist in a decent feature-length film?
Halle Berry is Catwoman.
Damn it! Halle Berry, you keep sneaking in here. I would say, first of all, the only female besides the Catwoman movie that I can think of is the Elektra movies, which were terrible.
Well, only one, thank God.
Oh, yeah, the one Elektra movie, which was really terrible. That was spin-off from the Daredevil movie, which was also really terrible.
Right.
But man, if you did if you did the Frank Miller storyline of Elektra, where it's just her and why she becomes Elektra, how her dad's assassinated, how she goes to train with the Hand, and stick to the fucking source material.
That'd be great.
I'll take it.
But another one, probably the J.H. Williams.
Oh yeah, Batwoman. Batwoman would be awesome.
But I don't think popular audiences would be ready for it. That would be really sick as just a Showtime or HBO serial show.
I know. She's so awesome and
adult the hell out of that thing.
Again, and if you base it off the Elegy trade, the Elegy story arc, I mean, it's perfect because it has the origins in there and it's all cut up and you can kind of follow. Yeah, it's all flashbacks and stuff. It's really well done. You
won't ever have to reference the Bird of Prey TV show that they try to do.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
You're not missing anything. But no, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of hard. It's you don't want. I like the idea of maybe Mystique getting her own film.
I think that's more possible.
Especially with Jennifer Lawrence now helming the character.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she's coming back for Days of Future Past now that she has a fucking Oscar, but that I could see that actually being a possibility.
Yeah,
that could work. I mean, have her own espionage type.
Yeah,
deal.
Totally maybe a Black Ops espionage. Her trying to figure out her roots or her past.
Yeah.
But again, the same problem with what we were talking about with the Wolverine film. It's can you really take a character like that who's got mutant powers and just plop him into a real world and she's the only one with the powers?
Yeah.
Or you still have to keep it based in other characters, other mutants, other story like that.
I feel I've said this before, one of the things that I would like to make is Dazzler the movie, the trailer. And
I think you've already said it once before.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna keep saying it until it happens. That's how I roll.
Putting it out there.
Okay.
And but like that could work though.
Yeah.
Like if you like, because in her thing, it's all about like, oh, she's like these mutants. Like there's this whole big thing, and like mutants are, oh, fuck you, mutants. And there's this big. Not, how it is.
Yeah, right.
And then she comes out as a mutant in it, and then it's starring in this film that's supposed to, like, help the mutant cause and all this stuff. And, like, yeah, there's other appearances and stuff, but it's like, I don't know. Like, it could...
Well, like, just, like, great, awesome coming out. We're like, hey, bitches, I'm a mutant.
Yeah, but it's really mostly just about her. There's not a whole bunch of other mutants in it.
But that's Dazzler. Dazzler is very,
Well, that's what I love about Dazzler. She has her own adventures in the real world, as opposed to a lot of the other
Not just
X-Men.
being an X-Man.
Yeah.
Like, she actually wants to have her own real life, and she wants to be a starlet, and she wants to be...
She's a multi-dimensional character, and she's very human, as well as being a mutant. So, and she embraces, like, both of those things.
Right.
Which
Any other movies with female comic characters that would make good movies?
Gosh. I mean...
Well, I feel like, it sucks, because they've taken away so many, like, female... fronted comics away from us recently.
I know.
Like X-23 lost her title.
There's like, it's pretty rough out there for the female characters. It's always been pretty rough out there for the female characters.
Yeah, totally, because they all kind of fall in the same archetype a lot.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad because I understand
because a lot of these dudes don't know how to write female characters.
Yeah, and they think that the only people who are reading comics are a certain demographic of male, which it's true. The bulk of the readers are these 18 to 45-year-old men, whatever.
And by that formula, I'm surprised they haven't done a Black Widow starring Scarlett Johansson yet.
Yeah, that's another thing that's very possible.
Yeah.
Although
that one feels possible to me.
That one feels really possible, but then again, she was downplayed in the movie a whole lot. She was only a female character on the team, and she.
They never explained her origins.
No, never.
Avengers movie, did they?
Because the comics always kind of script
she's got a bunch of different weird stuff, but you could.
It's like someone tell me the actual origin story of Power Girl. Like they kept knows?
Is she a cousin of Supergirl?
Is she the sister? Is she alternate reality Supergirl? What is it? We just can't keep it straight.
Yeah. And all right. Well, next question from Twitter. We got Rob Neufeld who asks, have you heard anything about American Horror Story Season 3? And yes, I have.
Ooh.
I'm really excited. Kathy Bates is joining the cast. And can you imagine, what a female powerhouse cast they have
She's
going.
Awesome.
Jessica Lange, and then you're going to have Kathy Bates. Then Sarah Paulson did such an amazing job. All the actresses on that show are just really top-notch. And I just really can't wait to see Kathy Bates acting opposite
Oh my god, that's going to be so electric.
Jessica Lange. It's going to be so good. And I've heard that it's supposed to be about witches.
Okay.
So there's some sort of...
Because now we know American Horror Story is never really going to stick with the same deal. It's not going to be a continuing storyline from one season to the next.
Which I like, which I appreciate. I think that's really great.
Which is also a really huge gamble, because I love the first season, and then I'm not really the biggest fan of season 2. But I'm going to come back for season 3.
It's a slow burn. It's different.
I really respect them for taking the risk and doing a story.
That's what I'm saying.
In the second series, and that's why I will watch them over and over again.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That was brave television. That is such fucking brave television.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see what they're going to do with it. They've really kept me interested so far. Seeing as how there's really not a ton of horror on TV. Yes, there is, Walking Dead and stuff like that, but I don't even really. Yes, it's horror, but it's not. It's more human drama.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it has zombies, but it's like human drama with zombies, whereas American Horror Story is like
And don't get me wrong, because Walking Dead has deviated from the comic book.
Yes.
You do have the fright moments. You definitely do have the fright moments.
Yeah.
Like, I have jumped a couple of times and went, wow, I can't believe they actually pulled that off, but...
I'm really excited. The title of it right now is like Coven, I believe. So... I'm really interested to see where they're going to go with the whole witchcraft storyline. As somebody who has a bunch of Wiccan friends, it'll be interesting to see how much it will bum them out.
And because American Horror Story does their fucking research, maybe people are going to kind of really respect the research the way they get portrayed.
Yeah, we'll see. It's probably, I don't know, witches got a long way in the fight, but it's.
We're not burning you anymore. We made it that far.
Yeah,
thank God.
That's good. That's good. I wonder if actually anyone's going to get burned in this season.
If anyone is going to portray witches differently, it might be American Horror Story.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see.
I'm
really interested to see where it's going to go. I'm very much looking forward to it.
There we go.
So, yeah.
Do we have any more awesome Twitter?
I'm trying to find some.
Let's see.
Do I like pie?
Fuck that question.
Thing about Arrow, Breaking Bad.
Do you like pie?
Yeah, I like like pie all right. I like cobblers.
Covered. Next.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to talk about Arrow right now.
I don't know how you say about it.
I know there's like maybe 3 people out there like, oh my god, Arrow? Nah.
Well,
let's see.
Oh, you know, I have a question.
Okay, you have a question.
I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
How do you feel about a He-Man movie coming out?
With Channing Tatum?
Feel about a He-Man movie with Channing Tatum coming out? How does that make you feel?
Do we really need to fuck with Dolph Lundgren? That one's pretty perfect as it is.
No.
And I'm not saying that as, like, oh, I'm trying to be ironic. Like, they got brave and made a Masters of the Universe movie with Dolph freaking Lundgren.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Mm-hmm. And don't touch it. But we're remaking everything.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that the Masters of the Universe, the first one, was sacred territory that they can't remake, if that's what you're saying.
Well, and also...
it can't be touched, I'm telling you.
John Chu is also attached to direct.
John Chu, the
director
of
G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Well, I mean...
way to move quick on that.
I know. It's like, well, I'm making money with this one.
Well, let's start over. What are our opinions on it? I'll tell you what mine is. That's fine. I don't really care about G.I. Joe, and I don't really care that much about Master of the Universe. Those franchises are more for kids than anything else.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're going to just make a sloppy kids movie with them, go ahead. I wish they would advertise them as kids movies.
Yes.
And not for, people like us.
I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of indifferent about the whole thing. I mean, really I am.
I'm just wondering, like, when are we going to have a She-Ra movie, too? Are we going to get a Gem movie? Like, when does it end? Like, when does it stop?
I don't know.
You know?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Let's
My Little Pony live action.
That's going to do well. They've got the bronies. You got the brony market.
But wait, let's explain our opinion on G.I. Joe.
Okay.
I don't have an opinion on part 2 yet. I haven't seen it.
You saw it, right? What do you think?
Yeah,
you saw part 2?
Yeah, I did.
Oh wow!
You know, I've been talking shit about this movie for quite some time, and I felt like I needed to actually see it to continue to talk shit about it. And I'm going to continue to talk shit about it right now. That movie...
Because you did get a lot of people that were attacking you in your summer movie predictions episode.
Yes.
About, what? Why would you say all this hate about these movies? Why are you telling people not to see these movies?
And the thing is, okay, I watched it, and that movie is amazing if you are a 10-year-old boy. You know?
Perfect.
It is perfect for 10-year-old boys.
Kids going, I loved it, Dad. It was awesome.
I know. And, but it's not marketed for little boys. It's marketed towards us. Like, it's marketed for, like, hey, you had this cartoon that you loved, and now you're going to see it the way you always wanted to see it. Now it's going to be badass, and it's going to be for you as an adult.
So by that, how about this? How about if they made the movie for 10-year-olds and then market it for 10-year-olds?
Yeah.
Would that have been just, like, flipping awesome?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
100%.
Well, yeah, we would have no problem with it. We might have not gone to see it.
Yeah,
I guess Hasbro got us, I
would have definitely rented a live-action G.I. Joe film and been like, hey, I could totally see why, 10-year-olds are digging the crap out of this.
Well, okay, you know what I did? Is after I saw the movie, G.I. Joe 2, I went home and I got on YouTube and I watched the original cartoon G.I. Joe, the movie.
That one's awesome with Cobra Law. And King
you remember it better than I do.
Yes.
But
Duke totally takes a freaking, snake dagger to the chest, and he's, sidelined for the entire movie. And then Cobra Commander is, mutating into, a freaking snake.
I can't believe you remember it.
Yes.
Serpentor was
Sergeant Slaughter, and then Slaughter's Marauders. Oh, yeah, I totally remember.
Yeah, I didn't see all of it. I just had to skim through it because I was planning on watching the whole thing again.
You have
to. The thing that I learned the most is, oh, wow, this really is kids' fare. I've forgotten what G.I. Joe was like.
Yeah.
And the intro, and they all have jetpacks, and they all have crazy military devices that they try.
And if you ever saw, right when anything was about to explode or blow up, we targeted the tank. You would see all the guys run out of the tank really quickly before it blew up.
Yes.
Because no one ever died in G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
even though it's a cartoon about war, and being in the military.
Well, they had lasers too. They didn't have guns. I didn't know that.
And then the only time you ever saw anybody die, quote unquote, were the Cobra bats. The bats were these automaton soldiers. They could change.
They're foot soldiers.
Foot soldiers, but they're robots. So you would see them totally get dismembered or anything, but they would be sure to show you gears and cogs and wires.
But it's just, I don't know. I feel like can we all just stop going to see these movies though? It's because the only way they're going to stop making nostalgia-based movies is that if we stop seeing them and stop giving them money.
But, we're getting Transformers 4 with Mark Wahlberg.
Dude, fuck you, Transformers 4. Like, why are there 4 Transformers movies? Like, I don't get it.
I'll tell you why. Because the trailers are actually really good.
The trailers are
really
great.
Well-cut trailers.
And you know what? I think that they deserve...
That last Transformers 3 dubstep trailer got me so excited. The movie, though, I wanted to throw up, but...
Wow. I know. We were watching
I could dedicate an entire hour of talking shit about that
Oh my god. He had it on one day on Netflix, and I thought that he was just watching some, like, sci-fi fake, like, ripoff of Transformers, and I was like, oh man, this is so fucking lame.
Transmorphers.
And then it was the Transformers movie. I was like, oh, this is actually Transformers. So I was like, oh shit.
Oh shit, I'm sorry I said that.
But yeah, I mean, the sound design's fantastic. I'll give him that.
Someone out there is really angry right now.
I'm sure they are.
Someone.
But
there are
just,
some people
unsubscribe.
It's not for me, I mean, I don't know. Come on.
Don't get me wrong, like, I'm cool with, like, a live-action Transformers film. Mm-hmm. But don't have more holes in the plot than Swiss.
I don't know. It's
and you're gonna let all of, like, New York and half the world get destroyed just to make a point that you can't trust the Decepticons?
Well, don't even get me started
I'm sorry, I'm going
don't even get me started on, like, all the female roles in the film, too. I mean, it's just
let's not go into
dude, it's such a bummer,
and too much, but I think that, in my opinion, the source of people's disappointment with both of these franchises is that they remember them as being a kid, and they were expecting is the key word, a different interpretation of the material. And what they got, some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah.
Well, can I say one last thing about G.I. Joe?
Sure,
go for it.
Man, okay, so it was great for 10-year-old boys, right?
Okay.
Terrible for little girls. Just, like,
really?
I would not, if I had a daughter, I would not want her to see this movie. I was, like, really offended by the female character, the female G.I. Joe, Lady Jane. Now,
okay.
All right, so they have a female character. That's great. You got a female tough character. Okay, I'm on board. And then, man, okay, so her first mission, and I wish I could see, like, I want to, like, reenact something where they're like, all right, Lady Jane, we got a mission for you, man. We got something for you. And she's like, great, what is it? Do you need me to go cut someone's throat? Do you need me to go snipe some asshole? And they're like, no. We need you to put on these shorty shorts.
Oh, God. Okay.
And we need you to jog up to the Secretary of State's or whatever the fuck's door, drop your groceries, bend over so he can see your pussy from behind. Then he's going to get an erection, and he's going to start, and that erection is going to lead him to you, to where he talks to you, and then we're going to snatch him through some incomprehensible cuts and kidnap him into a car so we can interrogate him for a minute.
Wait, so this is really in the movie?
This is really in the movie. This is really in the movie. And so that was her first thing.
Lady Jane...
So it's like, why can't they just abduct him out of his home? Why does she have to wear shorty shorts and bend over and show him her fucking pussy? Like, I don't understand. And then, right after that, her second fucking mission, they're like, okay, we got another mission for you. She's like, great, what is it? Do you want me to go fucking crawl through the sewers and infiltrate some building? They're like, no. We need you to dress up like fucking Jessica Rabbit and go to a fucking presidential thing and catch the president's eye with your hot tits. And then get him to come over to you and then try to get a piece of skin or hair so then you can go back to your table, open your woman purse, take out your woman lipstick that's really doubles as a fucking DNA encoder. Her fucking lipstick was a fucking, like, DNA encoder.
At this point, Lady Jane's like, can I just wait for him in the fucking bathroom already?
Like, dude, and then,
like, can I just do that?
And to add insult to injury, okay? Afterwards, she goes back and she's like, can you unzip me? To the other guy on the team. And he's like, yeah, and he's trying not to be a creeper about it or whatever. And you think that maybe they're going to get together later. Like, there's kind of like, oh, maybe they're going to get together. So she's sitting there and he has his back turned to her while she's getting undressed and putting on her jammies. But he's perving on her in the TV screen to where you can see a reflection of her in her underwear on the TV screen that's very distorted. So I'm
cringing right now.
And this is while, and this is all the while she's telling him about her daddy issues the entire time, while he's objectifying her in the fucking. And they never hook up in the movie. They never get together to where it doesn't make that pervy moment less pervy. You know what I'm saying? Because if they got together at the end, it's like, oh well.
Hey, here's a bunch of emotional rape.
But it's like no, like we're gonna show her talking about her baggage and things that she's upset about and why she became a G.I. Joe and all this stuff, and then while the whole time we're gonna objectify her male counterpart is going to sneak a peek on her.
That's crap. That's crap.
Nah, it was not that bad.
It was terrible. I would not let my little girl see that.
Well, if you're a little boy, what would that leave you to believe? That, well, that's what women are for.
That's
right?
exactly. I mean, it's like, it's disgusting. I don't know.
But Daddy, when did she make the sandwich for G.I. Joe?
I know, right?
Come on.
Come on, dude. It was like so lame. Like, I found it a little offensive, to be honest. I would be really bummed if I was her. I'd be like, really, guys? You're going to be putting shorty shorts again?
Let's not give G.I. Joe more
I'm surprised they didn't put her in lingerie
I think we're done with G.I. Joe.
and have her try to fucking suck Cobra Commander's dick. I'm surprised they didn't do that. Then you'll bite it off, and then we'll win. And, you know, like... Jesus.
Pussy mesmerizing. It's her talent.
That is her special.
Poor Lady Jane.
I know.
So, all right, moving on. Do we have any last Twitter questions?
I don't think so.
All right. So let's announce the Kickstarter.
Let's do it.
Still going on, happening right now.
Yes, Kickstarter is still going on right now. We're super pumped. We need your help to make Dazzler the movie, the trailer, and everything else that we want to do.
Really, so we just want to make a G.I. Joe 3. That's all we want to do.
Well, if I made G.I. Joe, it would certainly be better.
So why don't you also bring up that you reached your goal, and what are you going to do with any additional?
Well, yeah, we reached our goal in the first day, in the first 8 hours. It's really exciting, and but the more money we make, the more we can do.
And you have a stretch goal now.
We have a stretch goal of $50,000. I think it's totally feasible.
Big deal. I think everyone really needs to hear this right now.
Yes. Well, you know, originally we wanted to just get one more camera and one lens.
Okay.
But if we can continue to, reach our goals here, we can buy a third camera, which would be even crazier and would help us maybe make a certain documentary that we're thinking about making. And that's another thing. Is like we can make a documentary if we make enough money, and we just have so many projects that we want to do. It's crazy. Like, we have so many ideas.
Well, beyond that, this whole thing could just expand exponentially.
Oh, yeah.
And we could just be getting content out all the time.
Just pumping it out, cranking it out, content for you.
Which is why we're doing podcasts and Screen Addict, and this is why we're trying to get as many episodes out as possible.
Yeah,
one day maybe we can finally get Hollywood to listen to us and stop casting these celebrities, things like that.
Maybe we can make a difference. That's the thing. That's the main thing. Is we're trying to make a difference.
We want them to.
We just care.
We care.
Right.
That's
and we want them to do stuff that we care about.
We care. I promise. I'm not going to use the money on some crazy Balenciaga lobster claw shoes. It's not going to happen. I promise.
Not that she hasn't given it any thought or anything.
No, I haven't. I can't wear heels. It's terrible. But it's I don't like purses. Okay, I'm not into purses. I'm not going to waste your money on that.
Well, I know you guys give me my hookers.
All of the money goes towards making the show better, is what you're saying.
Yes.
And my hookers and blow allowance.
Yes,
that's it.
You got to have a little bit of fun. All work and no play.
Right. It's actually how you guys pay me.
All right.
Cool.
So that's it.
Well, here we are
next week.
Yeah, tune in next week for more fun times and frivolous conversations.
It's fun. Hopefully you guys are starting to get a feel for what this is going to be. But, I think the podcast really is going to start becoming, the nucleus of what brings everything together. And then when certain topics get talked about, we get to go a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
And have a little more fun.
I think that the podcast is all about therapy.
I think so.
For you and I, Kirk. We're just going to get to...
I've missed this so
much.
I
know. We used to have our Wednesdays together, and we read comics, and we talk about them, and
19 and I used to work together.
Yes, that's how we met.
And I never fell off the train. I've always been a comic drug addict.
He's been, yeah.
But all of a sudden, I remember walking into 19's, workspace, and sure enough, there was this ginormous, badass Buckaroo Banzai poster on her wall.
Yes.
And right then and there, I'm like, nerd.
I know.
And we just started.
That's how you identify yourselves, as saying, I like Buckaroo Banzai.
I like Buckaroo Banzai. You just Perfect Tommy? Hell yeah, Perfect Tommy.
Yes, 100%.
And, so we started, every Wednesday, going to hit the shop, on our lunch break, and we would sit down and pal around for comics and talk for a while.
Yeah, I'm glad we have this again.
Yeah.
This is great.
Because I've missed this.
I have too.
I miss ranting.
I know.
Right. So this has been our first episode or two of our experimental podcast, and one important note to say is that we've made a few mistakes today, definitely.
Oh, hell yes.
And we're going to keep making mistakes, but we're going to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might even keep some mistakes in there, just so that you guys don't think we're that good.
Because we're not.
Yeah, we're really not.
But we've enjoyed you. We hope you've enjoyed us.
Thank you for tuning in.
And over and out.
All right.